Hey everybody, Jake here. Today what we're going to do is we're going to fix a problem that I'm having with a door. Now, this is a very common problem. I'm going to show you really quick, where you have a bunch of play in the door. It doesn't snap shut properly, and if you notice when you open the door, take a look how bad this is. You can see it's loose, but it's so loose that I can literally shake the screws right out of the hole. By the way, guys, if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. We've got a lot of great videos coming up ahead. So there's actually 3 ways of fixing this problem. The first way, what you can do is you can take these screws out and you can get an extra long screw. So this is like a 1/2-inch screw. You can get like a 1-inch screw, and you can screw that screw directly back into those holes, and it's going to find some wood back there where the screw can bite onto. The other way you can do it is you can still use these screws, but then you could take some matches like this. This is an old trick, okay? So you basically take some wooden matches, not regular matches, some wooden matches, and you can take these matches and simply push them in these holes like this and then snap it off like that. And then you take another piece of the whatever's left, you push it back in and you snap it off. So basically what you're doing is you're filling in the hole, so that way when you take your screw like this, the screw will actually bite onto some wood. It may be matches, but it still bites onto the wood, and it has enough grip that it can hold this strike plate in place, okay? Now, the third way of fixing this problem is actually the way that I want to tackle it today. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some wood filler. And in order to do this, we basically have to fill in this material, fill in all this wood with this particular putty. And this putty is great. So basically what this does is it goes on soft, obviously, you putty it in, and then within a couple of hours, 2 to 3 hours, it's going to dry hard as a rock. And then what you could do is you can simply take your screws and screw into this material when it turns hard, and you'll be able to get this strike plate in place. So let's go ahead and get the process started. Let's go ahead and open the package up, and you can see that this material is actually like a pink, and when it dries white. So it has this thing called the dry time indicator. This is a fantastic product. All these any product that you see in my video here, I will show you a link in the description. Just go ahead and click on it and you can find it. I'm only going to link you the places where you can find it the least expensive. So let's go ahead and get started. The idea is we're going to take this stuff and we're going to put it into this crack, into these places here, and we're going to fill it in so that we can put a screw in afterward. Okay, so I don't have an actual putty knife, but what I do have is a piece of a credit card that I cut, and I made my own putty knife. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. So I'm going to take some of this stuff and we're going to scoop it up like this, and then we're going to carefully put it in and fill in any of these holes. And you want to mush it in as far as you can, because what's going to happen is it's going to dry like a rock. It's going to dry like wood, basically. And that's going to allow your screw to go back in without stripping. You want to keep on forcing it into that hole. Don't use too much, because then it gets up on all the other stuff, and you're just going to have to wipe it off after. You don't want to have to start dealing with paint and stuff like that. You just want to make a nice clean repair by pushing it in there, and you keep on forcing it in. It'll eventually fill the hole, and then it'll stop going in. You don't want to really fill in this opening here, because this is going to be the part where the center of your strike plate goes. And if you got that filled in, you're going to end up having to come out with some sandpaper and fix, to fix it. You still might have to come in with some sandpaper after anyway, but my goal here is to try to make this as smooth and clean as possible so it doesn't become necessary. Just keep on pushing it in. I'm not worried about using my fingers, because this stuff cleans up with water. You can just wash your hands in the sink and it comes right off. what we're going to do is we're going to step back from this project and come back in a couple of hours, and you should see that it's not going to be pink anymore. Yeah. So coming in with just a little piece of wet toilet paper before it totally dries, and we're trying to just clean up a little bit. Now's the time. And you can see it's already changing colors. The pink is going away and it's becoming more of a tan, I guess, like a natural wood color. One other thing that I think that's worth mentioning is that when you put this, when you're filling in the wood, you have to account for the fact that the strike plate has a certain amount of thickness, and it's supposed to be recessed. It's not supposed to be sitting on top of the wood. It's supposed to be sitting in this little recessed spot. So when you do your fill, make sure that you can put your plate back on and it still remains flat and flush with the wood like that. And you can see that's basically how it's going to go, and we're going to be able to put our screws in. As soon as everything dries and cures, we'll be able to do that. So it's still a little bit kind of wet in there. So again, let's come back in a little bit when it's completely dry, and we're going to put the rest of this thing back together. Okay, we're back. So I decided to actually wait to the next day because there were some deep holes here where we forced the wood filler in. I just wanted to make sure that the filler, that it's all the way deep in the holes, cured and hardened completely before we went ahead and did any more work on this. So what we had to do also, because as I said before, it's very important to recess this plate, okay? And if you don't recess the plate, it's going to stick out. It's not going to be flush with the board. So what we did is just with a screwdriver, just very, very carefully chiseled out some of the material that was kind of like sticking out a little bit. And you can either do that or you can just put some sandpaper in there, but it's not so difficult. You just got to make sure you got a nice clean groove in there and a nice flat surface for the plate to go. So here we are, we're putting that plate back into position, and we're actually going to see if the screws seat well and bite into that material like it's supposed to. So let's go ahead and get the screwdriver out, and we're going to go ahead and screw this plate in. That one, pretty hard surface. Okay, so it looks like it worked. You know, it's probably not the most beautiful, prettiest job in the world. That filler is okay. Now, you'd probably want to smoothen it out with sandpaper a little bit, but all in all, it fixed the problem. So let's go ahead and close the door and see how everything works and how it snaps shut. Pretty good. All right. Pretty good. Looks like it works pretty well. All right, so listen, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. Please share, and thumbs up are always appreciated. Have a great day, and take care now.